Gayle Saunders here with Brendan Walker. We're doing our offensive line preview on the path to 53. Oh man, Brendan, congratulations first and foremost. Arizona State University got that degree, right?
New grad, been all done, all finished.
New grad, you got a Super Bowl ring. Not you per se, but the team has a Super Bowl ring and trophy. So you got to be feeling pretty good, huh?
I feel pretty good. A lot of stress has been,
stress has been lifted.
It's gone away. Yeah.
Nice. That's what I like to hear. And a big part of that reason the stress has been relieved off our shoulders is, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and a big part of that Super Bowl winning team, the offensive line. The Eagles really, were built from the inside out. The trenches were a big part of, the Eagles. I guess you say the toughness or the grit. I mean, the defensive line was ridiculous, but the offensive line, including their depth, was a big thing last season. We're losing Jason Peters, a guy who's, losing that type of person in a locker room, let alone in the offensive line group, had to be tough for the group to handle. But then you had Big V that came in and stepped in and played a perfect role, backing up an all-pro, all-world left tackle. Jason Kelsey rebounded well. And then Lane Johnson held his own as well. Brandon Brooks was, a Pro Bowler. But Wisniewski, showed out. So moving forward, before we move forward, your feelings on last year's squad and what they did as a group.
So last year's squad obviously was probably the best we've ever seen, in terms of like the modern era offensive line. They're the best offensive line considering they won the Super Bowl, right? You can't say, you can have the best protection or whatever, but they performed to the best. And they had the mentality, like you said, of being like the hard grit, like the dogs. They're like the maulers, they all work together perfectly. And then, like you said, the depth too. When Vaitai came in, he's like the unsung hero of the offensive line because he kind of came in, struggled, and then, like, obviously, he played in the Super Bowl as a backup. So that's like, it's pretty insane to see like how far the offensive line was built, what Howie Roseman did to keep those guys there. They gave them contracts, they made them want to stay, provided depth just in case, but the starters were pretty like in sync with each other in 2017.
Yeah, man. I mean, they really did work. I mean, like if you look at them as a whole, I mean, those are like the perfect bodyguards. They trust each other. They have the confidence. They got the swagger. Moving into 2018, now they got the rings. Now it's back to camp. Now we start this all over. And we're on the path to 53. And obviously, you got to think about the future. And I heard a birdie has told me that you might have some hot takes about the left tackle position and a guy that we all love. We'll start with Jason Peters. Jason Peters, how are you feeling about Jason Peters going into the 2018 season?
Beloved Peters, I said it last year, and I'll say it again this year. I didn't think that he was going to play last year just based on that I predicted he would retire. Obviously, that was wrong, but he didn't play a full season, right? Injury came to him. He got replaced. But this year, right, he's coming back in. He's fresh. He's trying to build himself up to be the left tackle for this coming year. But it seems like he wants to play. He wants to play, right? And he's making a good amount of money. So the Eagles don't want to lose that value, right? If you're paying this guy, might as well just like let him play. He is all pro. He's a caliber left tackle. He's good.
But
I don't think he will play a full season. I'm not going to say he'll retire because I know he's going to want to play, even the first
Okay.
game. So I can't say he'll retire. But I don't think he'll play the full season again.
So
I think it's
are you saying that they should not start him until a couple games into the season, or until it's like
um
super like
I think like the same thing like with Carson Wentz's deal. Even though he doesn't have like the same
right?
like injury, I think they hold him a little bit, make sure 100% because if that happens again, yeah, Vitae could come in, he could probably do well, but it still wouldn't be the same type of thing, you know what I'm saying? Like I say hold him until he's perfect
Yeah.
because even so if he's not, the same thing will happen again and
Right.
he
Yeah,
could be gone
he had
half
the
the season.
ACL. I mean, Wentz had the ACL, PCL, and
Yeah,
all that jazz.
more stuff, yeah.
Um, I mean, that's a pretty hefty hot take. I mean, I know you were like, but hey,
Mhm.
I mean, you gotta speak your mind. I mean, I feel like a guy in his moving up in his age. I think that's something you have to be concerned about. I was at
Right.
the game when he got rolled on, and
Mm.
as soon as I saw him get rolled on, I was like, he's done for the
Big,
season. And everyone's like,
yeah.
dude, why are you saying that? I was like, I'm in the stadium. I just saw it on the jumbotron. His knee is done,
Yeah,
and
you see it live, yeah.
I was like, that was tough. And I think he came back from the Achilles tear, 2 Achilles tears, which could have been
Right.
detrimental to a lot of other people's careers. So it'd be hard for me to doubt Jason Peters. But I think if he is not ready to go in the first game of the season, you
Mhm.
could let him rest up a little bit until he's
Right.
fully ready. But I feel like he's hungry, man. He
Yeah,
hasn't
he
he hasn't
is.
won a playoff game.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
he was there in spirit, but I think
Yeah,
he's definitely got to be hungry after like rehabbing and watching the team go through what they did.
right.
But he was also a big part of Big V's growth as well. So speaking of Big V, a
Mm.
guy who a 24-year-old swing tackle, could play right, could play left. How you feeling about Big V going into the season?
Um, well, I feel pretty confident, and that's weird to say for a backup, but we saw what the Eagles got in him, the value. He stepped in and he did perform like very well. He was very reliable as a backup replacement for Jason Peters.
Right.
I know the season before he went into right tackle. It was kind of iffy. He kind of like he got moved around so much, but when he stepped into the left tackle role, he got more confident as the season went on. He got like the morale boost, right? He gained confidence from his teammates, from the
Right.
rest of the offensive line. Jason Peters was giving him pointers while he was sitting out, sick or I mean injured, rather. He got a lot of help, in addition to the like spot he was already in. He was getting all that help and confidence from his teammates and stuff. So I feel really well about his spot. And like I said with Jason Peters, if he doesn't play the whole season, Vitae could come in, and I think the Eagles would be okay with him coming in and doing the same thing because, like I said, they already know what they got in him.
Yeah, I mean, I think from having a guy like Big V who could maybe start on some other teams.
Mm,
Um, I wouldn't say, you know, I would say Big V is serviceable. He showed that he's
yeah,
serviceable, and I think you have to have a utility guy that can play right, left, step in when you need him to. I
right.
think while other Eagle fans out there might have been asking for a potential replacement for a left tackle or possibly a right tackle in the draft. The Eagles went a different way in the draft, going with tight end, and you know the guy that they moved up and got Dallas Goedert. The next guy that he went was Connor Williams, that was still on the board, who I
Right.
thought could have been an option. But the Eagles stood pat, and I think the team believes in Big V, but
Yeah.
is he the future? Is yet to be seen. Like I think
Right.
he did a phenomenal job last year. but I think we still need a guy. Um,
Right.
Speaking of guys, I mean, if you look at the tackle depth, I mean, you know, Taylor Hart.
Hmm.
How do you
Just
feel
a
about
guy.
Taylor Hart? Just the guy.
Just a
Just the
guy to
guy.
me. Yeah, he's just a piece. He he came in. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did he?
Chip Kelly,
Was he? Yeah, Chip Kelly brought him in, and
DT.
wasn't he?
Was
But
he played defense?
yeah, he was defensive tackle. Was that
Something I believe is defensive tackle.
something like that? Yeah, he got in to play defensive tackle, moved to tackle, left the team. Now back on the team.
Yeah.
He's been shifted and moved around so much that just leads me to believe that he's not like an essential piece in the long run or anything. Like I said, he's just a guy.
Just the guy. You know, in the draft, I mean, the Eagles did end up drafting a lineman. It wasn't until later in the draft. Um, Matt Pryor out of TCU. How are you feeling about Matt Pryor heading into the season?
It kind of gives me the same thing that Vaitai gave me when he was drafted.
Right.
TCU, honestly, it's honestly a duplicate from when he was drafted. TCU, big mauler, right? Big
Yeah.
size.
Yeah.
Um,
Big
but
hands.
you don't know what you're going to get out of him. Big hands, but you don't know what you're going to get out of him, right? He's like, he came in and you see him as a project. Like, you just see him as a big mauler. You don't know what you're going to get. Could play left tackle, could play right,
Or guard, too.
or guard, right? He said he could move to the guard position. So it's just like that versatile, what could you do type of offensive lineman. It's just like the wait and see game.
Yeah.
We waited, and we saw what Vaitai could do, which was great. So now it's kind of like, hey, Pryor, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Eagles like the positional versatility, guy who can play, tackle, guard, in a pinch. He did play with Big V. I know I heard Big V's not a man of many words, but Big V has been giving the rookie some pointers. So I think it's good for those two to have played with each other in the past. I mean the biggest thing on the offensive line is communication. Like a lot of guys don't realize how important that kind of communication with each other on the offensive line. And when you're playing with guys that you haven't played before, you don't know their tendencies. So I think those guys having that kind of relationship is kind of cool. Hopefully he's in the right situation with Stoutland, who's like an all-star offensive line coach. But moving down the line, the former rugby player Jordan Mailata making a lot of headlines. Was a big star in the draft on the third day. Feelings on Big J?
Well, obviously his size is no question. He's massive, right? The 6'8" frame, whatever. I think his story, right? Like you said, NFL Network, they did so many stories on him. Like, the rugby player coming in, never played a lick of football in his life, coming in. He has a great story, Tim, but I'm not sure, right? Because if you've never played football, even at high school, even at Pee Wee, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have that knowledge and you don't have like the game sense in you, from an early age. So it's basically like him being a toddler trying to learn a new game. That's what I compare it to. So he's definitely a project player. He's an athlete, right? We saw from the highlight reel that's been played multiple times, his rugby highlights. He can do a lot of things with his legs. You see him carrying 4 dudes on top of him. In an interview, though, I think he said like when he put pads on for the first time, he felt like he couldn't breathe. Now I don't know if that's because it was too tight, like he didn't know how to put them on, or if he actually is not used to it. So it's like,
I read that. I was a little concerned just by reading that one line. I was like,
it's like you can't breathe. Come on, man. Like, no, I think his role with the team, he's definitely a project player, but I could see. He's listed as a tackle, right? He's listed to play tackle because of his frame, his size. Like that makes sense. I think Now this is like
You about to flip him,
branching
right?
out. This is about to be huge, right? I
It's about
think
that
he
hot
could
takes,
take.
yeah.
He could possibly go into the type of role that Bo Allen had. Now Bo Allen, he kind of lined up in the eye as a fullback, right? And he was lined up in goal line formation because he's a big dude. I think that could be a possible fit for him, considering he's big. He can just run in there, get on the goal line, and he could be like that type of goal line situation person um, in those situations, right? Goal line is the most obvious thing for him to me, um, based on what I saw from the highlight reel. But right now, if he's trying to be in tackle mode, he's just got to learn the game.
Well,
That's
you
all it
think
comes
about,
down to.
you know, when they bring in an extra lineman, an extra
Yeah.
extra tackle, or
Mhm.
kind of like a tight end, like Siamalu did that last
Right.
season. If you think about, if they're thinking about getting an athletic guy who can block on the edge, and rocks a 5'1", 40.
Right.
I mean, he can move. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole, like at the end of the day, great story. You know,
Right.
but
Yeah.
they really did their homework on Jordan Mailata. I mean,
Mhm.
Stoutland was on his tail for the longest time. Uh,
Right.
the whole thing with I believe the NFC South has a international player roster spot
Mhm.
that you can have on your team. It's only for the
Right.
NFC South, and I think an AFC team division has it as well. I'm not sure which one, but
Uh-huh.
it allows you to keep an international player on your practice squad,
Is that the
which is
53 plus 10 plus one?
it's like 53 plus. It's like a 53 plus one kind of deal.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
we don't have it. We don't have it.
Right. Yeah. We don't have it. We just
But
drafted him, and now he's yeah.
but I think the Eagles. There was a lot of teams that were like looking at him. He had a lot of. I believe he had like 8 visits, and the Eagles had a pre-draft visit with him. So there was something
Mhm.
they liked. I mean, they really. I mean, if you use an official draft visit on a guy who's never played football before, that 6'8",
Got to be special.
346. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, he was going to go back and play rugby, but they're like, you got to lose some more weight. He's like, I'm at 10% body fat.
Yeah. What can you do?
For
Lose
like his
muscle?
side, like 346, 10% body fat. That's
Yeah. It's pretty ripped.
I think it's just going to be like you said. He's going to be sort of a project, but great story, man. It's got some,
Great story to hear.
got something for us to talk about during the preseason. So
Right.
moving right along, we had a couple guys that undrafted free agents. Toby Weathersby out of LSU, Ian Park, and we have Aaron Evans. What are you feeling about those guys?
Right now, I think the tackle position is kind of heavy to me. Like, we have good tackles on the team, and we have good tackle backups. Um, and those are the undrafted free agents, right? Besides the people that we already drafted, like we drafted 2 tackles potentially. We already have tackle backups. We have good tackle starters. These guys, Toby Weathersby and Aaron Evans, they're right now just fighting for a practice squad or just fighting for that roster spot, I think.
Yeah, I know Weathersby, he had a poor testing at the combine.
Oh, yeah?
He didn't impress with the feet too much. I mean, his feet didn't look like Jordan Mailata's, okay? But, he played at LSU. I think he's got some experience. So
right.
I think, they got a shot.
They have a shot.
To try and make the roster. So I guess we can't forget to mention Ian Park's Halo.
Mr. Halo.
Song. Like the song, it was like a song from the Angels.
So beautiful, honestly.
I was like, sing it again.
Yeah. Dude.
I mean, do you play Halo?
I played it, yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
It just reminded me, took me back, nostalgic.
It did take me back.
What a guy. He should get a roster spot just for that.
That's what I was saying. Maybe. I mean,
team entertainer.
So moving forward to the guard position,
yes.
You talk about its strength. You talk about, last season we had the same. We did the same video, and last season
Hmm.
we had a hot take from my man right here. He was talking about Isaac Suomalu, and I actually kind of backed the idea. I was we were actually right in the sense when we
Yeah,
talked about
somewhat.
Isaac Suomalu starting. You go with the young guy. If the
Yeah,
young guy does not, if they're even, start the young guy in camp.
right.
Once Isaac Suomalu showed that he wasn't ready, he
Yeah,
wasn't ready. They
yeah,
went with
exactly.
Wisniewski,
Yeah.
and then he
So
went
I was right for a game. I was right for like a little bit of time.
right.
He was considered the starter, but yeah, Wiz stepped in and he did his thing.
So
Not
all
gonna lie.
right. We'll start with Wisniewski. How you
Okay.
feeling about Wisniewski?
I think he's solid. I think he's like what was it? He came from the Jaguars as a center, and in free agency came to us, and I just thought he was like a serviceable offensive line. I didn't really know much about him, but I thought he could do well.
Yeah.
And he was in that competition, right, with Warmack and
Yep.
Sam Malo. There's like a huge position battle to try and get the starter role at the guard, and they were just switching him. Like the year before, they were just switching him, trying to see what would happen at left guard. Because honestly, there hasn't been a great left guard since Evan Mathis, in my opinion. So they were trying to get that established, right? Um, he came in, got the job because Malo wasn't really performing to the best of his ability, um, or to what the team wanted, and he did great. Honestly, Wiz as a left guard is very solid.
Yeah.
Like if there was a scale between 1 to 10, I'd say he's an 8. Solid 8 left guard. He did
Yeah.
well.
I think that experience that he has. He's got the center guard position versatility. You like that?
Right.
I think when he came in, I mean, he missed some games, I believe, at the end of the season. You could tell the difference between when he was in there. I mean, and when they tried, like, Warmack got a couple reps in there and got ate up.
Yeah.
But I mean, Wisniewski gives you that kind of, like, you could sleep well knowing Wisniewski. But like I said before, the communication aspect, a guy who's got a center background, used to calling things out.
Right.
Him and Kelsey, I think the communication level is probably much better when you're not a rookie trying to
Right.
see things that you haven't seen before yet. Wisniewski has the experience. So going into this year, I mean, do you think Suomalu is just a guy, or he has a shot
Uh,
to retain
I
his
think
value?
I think I have to relieve my hot take at this
Oh,
moment.
wow.
I think Wiz has established himself, right? I think anything when you have a Super Bowl winning offensive line, and you get to that point, and you're there, and you're meshed, and you have that like
Yeah.
vibe going in, those guys, they're all best friends. They all hang out. They do everything together, and I think they're solid where they're at. I think Wiz has earned his place. I think he's the starting left guard for the Eagles. I think Seumalo has a shot in the future. Right? These guys are getting old. We have an old offensive line. I'm not gonna lie. We have an older offensive line in the league. So Seumalo will get his shot, but he didn't prove. If he had proved himself at the right time, he probably would have been the starter, and they probably would have rode with him.
Right.
But he didn't. Wiz came in. He showed it. He was better. Ended up winning the Super Bowl. So
Yeah, I think you have in a position where you have the competition, and you have a young guy who's fighting for his spot on the roster.
right.
He does have the ability to play center as well.
Mm-hmm.
He actually could play in college. I think he played all the positions in college. So I think he's got, I'm not, he could be a depth player. They actually brought Suomalu to come in, and when they brought another tackle that was eligible, he was the guy. So
Right.
he could be that utility guy again.
Right.
But I think he adds depth. who else do we have at guard? We have Chance Warmack, and rounding it out with Daryl Green. We can talk about those both.
Okay. Um, yeah, I'm not Daryl Green. I'll talk about him first because it's super quick. I don't think he makes the roster after
To the, pra- to the,
after all. Yeah, after all said and done, like the off season, I just don't think he has the chance because it comes in right, and you have everybody else at guard, and you have Ian Park trying to compete. I think they're probably gonna. They saw what they got in him. He's been. I think he's been on the practice squad.
yeah, yeah,
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure that he will stay there given all the competition. I think they want to give the new guy a chance. If they like him more, I think it's going to be
yeah,
given to the new guy. But Warmack, see, when Warmack came in, I thought he had a chance.
yeah.
Play on words. Uh,
Okay.
I didn't do that on purpose. I swear. Um, I thought he had a legitimate chance to come in and start because he did start for the Titans at one point, and I thought he would be good coming into the role as a guard. I thought he already had great chemistry with Stoutland because he was his previous coach. So I I saw him have the potential to, but like I said before, Wiz kind of came in and just took over the role, and we ain't really seen anything from the guard spot
Yeah, I
since he
mean,
did that.
yeah, I think it was the Redskins game where he got completely like
He got creamed.
manhandled. Like he was on skates, on skates, on skates. I think, I think Warmack, the idea of Warmack coming in with Stoutland, who was his coach in college,
Right.
you know, maybe it was a marriage made in heaven in college, but I think he did struggle a little bit. I think his strength, I believe, is in the running game. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Physical.
I think his ability in the passing game is what got him in a little bit of trouble.
Mm.
But for the back end of the roster kind of guy, and if he doesn't cost you that much, you know, at the end of the day, you know, they want to get cheaper, they want to get younger, and if a guy can do what he can do, you got him as a UDFA, and you're only paying $480,000. That's
Yeah.
probably the way you go.
Yeah.
Um, but moving on,
Okay.
we're going to go to the center position. Now, how do you feel about Jason Kelsey after last season's All Pro?
The man of all words, all pro, all
All
pro.
Pro,
He made all pro. Was not selected to the Pro Bowl.
which is weird.
Hurt a little bit, but it's okay, I guess. Um, the league, you know. I think he's the second highest paid offensive lineman on this team, and most of it for good reason. Because you know he it's like he either has a stellar year, plays amazing, or he kind of just drops off. And I don't know if that's all him. It could be just the way the team is designed, the way stuff was just working out. 2014 kind of just fell down a little bit, but the team wasn't doing so well. He has like the really high years, and that's probably why he gets paid a lot. Is because they just see a stellar year and they're like, "Hey, we want to keep you." Doesn't matter what you do the next year, right? He fell down after 2013, which was a great offensive year for the
Yeah.
Eagles. Um, I think Kelsey, he is also aging as well. So it just comes into play. I think like he has, I don't know how quite old he is, but I think he has
I think
one or
he's
2 years.
30
He's
now.
30 years old.
Yeah.
He's probably got about maybe max 3 years then. But
Let me look that up for
like
a
I said,
second.
we want to keep the offensive line young. You know, like you said, you know, like you want to keep people young, and he's getting paid.
Yeah,
Like
30 years old. He is 30 years old. We were correct.
okay, yeah, he's getting paid $7.2 million. Like he did well, but I think the reason why he needs to stay is because he gels well. Like we said previously, he gels well with the rest of the offensive line.
Right.
I I don't know what it is, but like having the old guys, having an old offensive line, even though age is, you know, foreseeable to that they're gonna drop off in the future. I think they just mix well. I think the old guys, they understand each other. They work well. He just fits. He just kind of
Yeah,
fits right now.
I mean, I think Jason Kelsey, when after that speech that he gave on the steps,
Great speech.
I was there. I was freezing. I was in the front row, and I couldn't feel my feet. But
But
that speech brought me alive there. I think you got yeah. But I think if nothing is above repeat, keeping a guy like Jason Kelsey in the house, it's going into defending the crown season one. I think he's your quarterback on the line. I think I feel great having him there. I think with them bringing in Suamalu, bringing in Wisniewski,
mm-hmm.
the Eagles were bringing in competition, guys that can play center. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And I think maybe you never know. Maybe the competition, like people really underestimate what competition does to athletes.
Oh yeah, it gets them fired up. It gets them like
you trying to steal my. It's like if you never play football and you're sitting on the back of the depth chart and they put the guy in front of you who's got your spot, that shit will fire you up.
Yeah, it makes you mad.
But obviously, I was always in the front of the depth chart, so I didn't see anybody.
Excuse me.
But I mean, I think that competition might have really fired up Kelsey, and he was healthy too, a lot healthier.
He was, yeah.
Another guy, John Toth.
John Toth.
Just a guy. Solid depth.
It's
just a guy. Special teams.
His only real competition, right? In terms of centers on the team, I don't know why Steven Wisniewski is still listed as a center in some places, but the only real competition that John Toth has for center is Jason Kelsey, unless Seumalo comes in and just wants the center role. But we said he's versatile, right?
I would think they would go with Wiz or Suamalu.
Honestly, yeah, to move him and put somebody else then at left guard. But I think right now Toth is just still a name trying to compete for a spot. That's all I can say for him.
Brandon Brooks, man. How you feel about Brandon?
Heck of a player. Brooks, right, when he came in, like he wanted the opportunity to just have a new start. He embraced the Philadelphia role right when he came in. For sure. Like, he went to everything. And then now, after this season, like, he's just like a great overall dude that just came in, right, fit perfectly. And did he get All-Pro?
Yeah, I think he was Pro Bowler, wasn't
he? He definitely got Pro Bowl looks. I need to. Oh, he didn't get All-Pro? Surprising me. He played to the best of his ability. He played beyond all expectations as a right. I think the right side of the line, the way I see the offensive line looking out, the left side is more of like the protection. Obviously, Jason is the communication, but I see the right side as more of like the physical bruising type of the offensive. That's just what I feel. Brandon Brooks is God, he's that dude. He gets it done. He gets the job done.
Yeah, I took a photo of him last year from the end zone, and I was like from like here, I was like 5 feet away from him, and this dude was like, I'm like, God damn, this dude's built like a brick house, like from the shin bone, like from the shins to the
straight muscle,
just like a brute force, man. I feel like after the season, he came off of last season with dealing with the anxiety, and, which was like some people were doubting. Like, it's funny because in college I played with a lineman who had the same issue as Brandon Brooks, dealt with anxiety. Like he would throw up blood before every game.
Yeah, that's
and like almost pass out, and we were like, he had to get an IV before every game, and I was like, it does happen.
It's serious, yeah.
And my teammate would actually go back in the game, and everyone's like, dude, we're throwing up and passing out. So I think, hats off to Brandon Brooks for that aspect. And having a Pro Bowl season.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he just fit right in. I feel it was a perfect signing, like a solid. He's one of the. It's been like
Really,
probably the low key signing. It's been
right,
super solid for us
right.
in the
And we
last
signed him
couple of
to a
years.
long-term deal.
Yep.
We said, yeah, so we have him for a while.
Yeah, and then and on top of that, he gave up some extra cash. I mean, he's still gonna get his
Right,
cash on the back end, but
right.
extra cash for Nick Foles. So
Yeah,
that's cool.
love
Um,
this team, man.
I mean, what else can you?
What more can you ask? I don't know. This team is just great. They give up money for each other. I don't know, dude.
I mean, but then all around, like you look at this roster, like where are you going to start? Whoever comes in, where are you going to start? We only have like very small amounts of spots that are open. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
good
exactly.
problem to have.
Yeah,
I don't think we're like actually.
we're not perfect.
Well, I mean, I don't think we're used to being this good.
Yeah, I think people are kind of
Right.
underestimating what has happened here. We have a lot of starters coming back,
And
which is
I
insane.
and I think a guy who helped helps round out this whole group uh, from a physical standpoint and also from a mental standpoint.
Mm.
Um, I think he's been, he really has redeemed himself. Lane Johnson. How you feel about Lane Johnson?
Lane Johnson, dude, he comes in and he has a fire under his belt. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Exactly.
came in, he had the suspension. He's like, I'm gonna prove everybody wrong. What happened happened. I'm here to come back and play my heart out. And he has the whole underdog thing. Like when they started doing good and everybody doubted him, you know, I feel like he had a fire under his belt like the whole season. He came in the suspension. He a lot of doubters, doubted him. He said he was going to come back stronger than ever and play his heart out. He comes into the season with the whole underdog mentality. With Chris Long, they did that whole spiel, which was phenomenal to me because it makes the whole team like feel like they need to accomplish something. So he played out of his mind, and I stand by what I say. There's no bias in this. Even if there was bias, he's the best right tackle in the league. Like you could say anybody, and I would say Lane Johnson's better because of the whole package, not just talent. Not it's like his emotion, like his connection with the teammates, what he brings to the table, right? It's his whole persona that makes him the best right tackle in the league, and he's with the Eagles. So what more can you ask?
I mean, I feel like he embraced the city. I remember reading the Players Tribune article that he wrote, kind of
Mm-hmm.
like just talking about where he came from to now and his maturation and him dealing with like the suspension and just feeling the weight of the city on his back, but also realizing what how bad that affected the team last year. I thought he was big. Him being out was like super detrimental. But
Right,
you talk about a guy who's like developed. Um,
right.
he's gotten bigger. I mean, he's athletically gifted. I mean, the guy ran a 4.72 40. Lane Johnson. People don't
Fast as
realize
a
how
tackle.
fast our right tackle is.
Yeah,
You can spread him out to run like a tackle screen with it. The guy's an athlete, and also if you look at the defensive ends that he went up against last season, he went up against the best of the best.
right.
Khalil Mack, Von Miller.
Yeah,
You
all the
you
studs.
you could what do you want? Joey Bosa, all
Yeah,
of them. I mean,
all over the league.
so I mean, tackle, right tackle, left tackle. He played his heart out, and I think, like you said, like his demeanor really, I think it really touched the city, and the fan base. And I feel like he's the kind of guy. Like if they want to move him to left tackle, or if they want to just keep him at right tackle, or whatever. I think with Lane Johnson playing on the offensive line, you got to feel secure as an Eagle fan.
Yeah, you got to feel good to have him on the team.
Yeah.
He brings a fire to the city, the fans, to everybody. Feels good.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think I think we touched on the offensive line, and we did a pretty good job. And I mean, any last words for the fans out there? I mean, anything you want to share with them? Any nuggets you want to drop for any
Any
more
more
hot
hot
takes?
takes, dude?
Any more hot takes?
Um, I'll, I'll have hot takes for Twitter. I'll save that for Twitter right now. But I will say, any fans that are doubting, we have an old offensive line. Any fans though that are doubting about the offensive line, just take it in and just be happy that this is the offensive line that you have, because this is one of the best, if not the best, in the league, and it's in Philadelphia, right? It's the best among the division. It could be the best in the conference, right? Just appreciate what you have.
Where can the viewers find you at?
Viewers can find me at bwalker NFL on Twitter. I tweet all the time. Be ready for some hot takes because they're coming.
And if you guys want to look for me, I'm on Twitter at Eagle Sessions, Gayle Saunders. For Brendan Walker and myself, we thank you for watching, and we will see you guys soon. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Let's go.